Hey guys, welcome back to the Creative Block. Today I'm thrilled to be joined by Camilla Brossa, a trailblazer in the world of Web3, AI, and digital art, and the founder and CEO of CAIA Consulting. Camilla helps companies, brands, and creatives navigate the rapidly evolving landscape of emerging technologies from blockchain and NFTs and immersive digital experiences. In today's conversation, we're going to dive into how AI and Web3 and digital transformations are shaping the future of creativity and business. We'll explore the exciting potential of quantum computing. We've been nerding out about that offline. A technology poised to revolutionize everything from AI training to blockchain transactions and way beyond. Camilla, thank you for being on the Creative Block. I really appreciate you being and making the time all the way from Italy. It's awesome to see you. We've met, I don't know, a year and a half ago or so, and I think connected and have sort of the same nerdy likes and dislikes. And so I really appreciate you making the time today, and I'm excited to hear about your new venture.
Yeah, no, thank you so much for having me, Vince. It's a pleasure to be here.
So let's just dive in. Quantum computing feels a bit like magic, almost like a mind-bending concept.
Yeah.
It's essentially a technology that revolutionizes the way we solve complex problems. The best analogy I heard was that if you imagine a maze and you think about a traditional computer figuring out that maze, it does one path at a time, tests it, and then goes to the next one. From the user experience, it seems very fast, almost instant, because of the processing speeds. But it still has to go step by step. In quantum, it looks at all paths at the same time, which is just so unbelievable that that could even happen. So in the traditional computers where you have binary on and off switches, you basically in the quantum world have on and off at the same time, which is kind of nuts. I mean, that's really insane. So potentially billions or millions of times faster in speeds that we're looking for. So it's potential for blockchain and cryptography and I mean everything. I mean everything you could possibly think of. It has this potential to revolutionize everything. It's still being developed. It's not mainstream now. It's very expensive. The hardware is very expensive. I saw that IBM was one of the forefronts in terms of the development of it. But there is a push from all the big players to understand this and smooth it out and at some point make it consumer available. And tell me, Camilla, what excites you about it? How did you first start coming to this?
Well, it started actually because I'm really passionate about quantum physics. That's kind of a hobby,
Oh wow.
but I was really into it because of the possibilities that it brings, and so it's really exciting to see quantum computing become like getting closer to become a reality. After Google announced their quantum chip, like I thought that was gonna happen actually later in life. So I think it's really exciting to see that it's happening right now. And as you said, it's going to transform the world as we know it. And I think there's two things that really excite me about quantum computing, besides the fact that it proved the multiverse, and that is just mind-blowing for me because my favorite movies are basically becoming very close to reality. So there's two things that mostly excite me. Number one is the magnitude of change that quantum computing is going to bring. It's going to be something like it's going to be bigger than anything we've ever seen before. And to put it into perspective, if you consider the biggest revolutions that we had over the past 200 years, you have the Industrial Revolution with the Ford assembly line, the internet, the smartphone. Like all these revolutions reshaped completely industries, and they were massive, right? We can all agree that they were massive revolutions, but they improved the way that things were done. So they made things faster, more efficient, more accessible. The scale of impact of quantum computing is going to be larger than all these revolutions combined. So imagine, like I like to compare it to electricity. Like the quantum computing is not just going to improve things, it's going to completely change how we think about things, how we approach problems. um,
It's not just a simple progression of better.
no, exactly, it's literally going to transform how the world functions. electricity didn't make things faster, easier, and better. It just like completely transformed how we approach problems and what kind of problems we think we can solve. So the kind of impact is going to be very similar. And the second thing is the fact that quantum computing can solve potentially unsolvable problems, what we consider today unsolvable. Again, to go back to quantum physics, because I'm a little nerd, if you think about the biggest physics problems that right now are unsolvable, like the theory of everything. Have you seen the movie, The Theory of Everything?
Yes.
That theory today is still unsolvable, and
Yeah.
it's essentially the theory that would explain everything, both the macroscopic world, so everything that we can see, so planets, galaxies, and the microscopic world, so atoms, particles, electrons. Right now, there's no theory that can explain how both worlds work. And so
Right.
it's one of the biggest mysteries of our universe. And, solving it, and quantum computing could potentially help solve it, would literally mean that we would understand the nature of space and time, and we would understand what happened before the Big Bang. And so if you think about it, it's just mind blowing. These have been like the biggest questions that we've had over the past years, over the past decades. And quantum computing could finally bring some clarity on who we are and where we come from. And also, it's really exciting to see what it could do in science and healthcare. If you think about, for example, developing a new drug, the process today is really long, really expensive, and it has also negative collateral effects. If you think about Alexander Fleming, for example, when he discovered penicillin completely by accident in 1928, it took over 10 years to bring the drug to the market and make it usable. And they tested it on animals, they tested it on humans, and the same thing happens today with vaccines and new drugs. What quantum computing could do is literally test thousands, millions, billions of possible scenarios for a new drug and see the exact recipe that could be potentially life-changing for us. It could cure Alzheimer, it could cure cancer, and so many other incurable diseases. So we're really standing at the threshold of a new era.
Yeah, it's amazing because it feels almost like a 1-2 punch, right? I mean, AI has been along for a while. It's not like, new this year, but the development and consumer reach is unprecedented in this moment. And it's just started. I mean, we're really
Yeah.
at the very cusp of what this will be. And now we're at the dawn of figuring out what quantum computing will be. So those two things, I mean, it's kind of like, it's kind of crazy to be born in this moment. I mean, we are witness to something that's, I agree with you 100%. It's a fundamental shift, not just in our abilities, but in how we see ourselves as humans. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
it's kind of crazy. I mean, we're both adults and we're not, naive. And this is also accessible to bad players as well. But hopefully, the arc of humanity, bends a certain way. And for the most part, it will be, for the greater good. So that's my hope.
Yeah, that's my hope too, actually. I'm
Because
very
I don't know if it could solve human stupidity, but that's
that's a big question. I'm very optimistic. I'm very optimistic on
yeah,
that.
me too.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I wanted to share one thing I saw, and this was only like a couple of days ago. I saw this article on TechCrunch talking about OpenAI's latest trademark submission. The article speculates that OpenAI might be developing humanoid robots, and even smart wearable technology. But one detail that jumped out for me was the conversation of quantum computing, mentioning that they brought on a former quantum systems architect from PsiQuantum last year, signals a growing interest in quantum's role in AI. So this is not a new conversation, but the fact that a big player putting in, trademark for potentially new product and looking at how to utilize AI, plays into what we were just talking about. I mean, I think we're going to see this more and more. You have any thoughts on that?
We're definitely going to see, I hope we're going to see this more and more, because it's true that quantum computing is still in development and it's going to take, some say, 20 to 50 years to become commercially viable and available to consumers. But, once it happens, like, it's not going to wait for anyone. If you think that the Google quantum chip solved an equation in 5 minutes that a regular computer would take 10 to the 26th years, something like that, it is insane. So you have to start thinking about it now, and you have to start making investments now to arrive prepared to the
Yeah.
moment when quantum computing is going to become a thing.
Just talking about you a little bit, you have an interest in science and the intersection of Web3. That the whole Web3 thing is how you and I connected. Are there things that you are personally interested in that you could see this sort of kickstarting in a different way, a different way we think about this whole thing?
Definitely, I can see a huge impact of quantum computing and AI. AI is another big thing that I'm really passionate about because of how fast it can go. Like the three phases of AI. Right now we're at phase one, narrow AI, so very like simple, not simple, but like very specific tasks. Quantum computing is going to bring us to phase number three and beyond way faster, which is the super AI. And again, so many people are very concerned and skeptical about that. I am so excited to see that phase coming, hoping that it's not going to turn into the Terminator, obviously. But quantum computing can definitely improve AI under so many aspects. And, number one, it's going to make training AI models faster, cheaper, and so much more efficient. Training an AI model right now it takes a lot of time, a lot of resources, a lot of energy, and a lot of money. If you think about OpenAI, for example, they started in 2015, in 2015, and it took them about 8 to 10 years to release their model. And I read this article that said that it cost them, the operational cost in 2024 was 8.5 billion, just the operational cost of OpenAI. So it's incredible. And DeepSeek, on the other hand, took 2 months to release their model. And what was interesting is that they used quantum-inspired techniques. So not quantum hardware, not the chips, but quantum-inspired computing techniques to make it, to deliver it to the market much faster. So with quantum AI, you could have a learning model in minutes. Like it's going to be just mind-blowing, and it's going to bring AI to a whole new level. And there's this positive, well, I don't want to call it positive because I don't want to give a moral connotation to it, but there's going to be this feedback loop between AI and quantum computing.
Yeah.
Because AI will help improve quantum computing, and quantum computing is going to give AI so much more power. So, for example, AI will handle more complex problems, handling all these multiple possibilities at the same time. Will become more creative and adaptive. So, right now, the big question about AI is that it's not creative. You're just teaching AI how to create something. With quantum computing, AI is actually going to develop its own creativity. So it's going to have this out-of-the-box thinking. And instead of relying on existing data and existing patterns and the programmer who said you're going to do this by doing that, is just going to develop its own creativity. And it's going to be very interesting to watch. And also the whole decision-making process that AI right now is based on, which heavily relies on the code behind it. AI self-driving cars that are powered by quantum computing are going to be able to, for example, explore all possible driving scenarios and avoid accidents before they even happen. So even the implications in our daily life are going to be significant, and I think it's worth exploring how this can make the world a better place.
And so let's talk about something you are also familiar with, which is cryptography and NFTs and, the blockchain. I was initially, attracted to blockchain because I'm a content creator. The idea of putting my IP on the blockchain, proving ownership, was really attractive. And I think that despite the fact that the hype is really down now on that, except for Bitcoin, that technology is still there. The potential is still there. I don't think we fully realize, all the exciting things we can just do yet, just because the spotlight's not on, the NFT world.
Yeah.
But this could also, AI with quantum could also change the dialogue of that, right? Because the technology of how it works is still there. It still has value. It's just a matter of whether or not, it has bigger value to consumers.
100%, yeah. Quantum computing is definitely, again, two sides of the same thing. When Google Quantum Chip came out, the whole Web3 community was in shock, and they were, oh my God, Bitcoin is dead. What is going to happen to our crypto? And, sure, cryptography relies on a an unsolvable problem, which is the prime factorization of large numbers. All the modern cryptography relies on the fact that this problem is not solvable, and so finding combinations to these equations is just impossible. And so hence why cryptography keeps data safe. Quantum computing obviously would bypass that in seconds. But if you look at it in the other way, quantum computing could actually create a new level of security that is going to make encryption completely different. And sure, it's going to solve this prime factorization issue, but it's going to create a new one, a new, more secure, more transparent way to keep your data secured. And Web3 is definitely relies 100% on encryption because that's how the blockchain works. But there's also so many other industries that rely on that. Imagine government, national security, all the big tech with the clouds, banks, finance. All these industries can decide to see quantum computing as a threat to their own security, or try to implement quantum resistant cryptography and really create a whole new way of thinking about security. But with quantum computing and AI combined, you can definitely bring this new decentralized systems and networks that are based on blockchain to everywhere in the world. And you can really give people a new tool to do things. If you think about DAOs, for example, I would love to see more DAOs out there, in governments, in NGOs, in even companies.
Yeah.
I would love to see that more often, but I know it's also really hard to scale because some of these blockchains are really, really slow.
So as this tech evolves, you're going to see different companies and organizations come into this. What do you think their role is in this? How do you think that they should embrace this as we go forward with this tech?
I think number one is education. Knowledge is power. So they need to start understanding the basics of this technology, and not only quantum computing, but also AI and Web3, if they're not already leveraging these technologies. Because technological progress doesn't wait for anyone, so you need to either adapt and learn about it and know how to leverage it for your own good, or you're just gonna sink and be forgotten forever. And so I think the first thing would be understanding the basics and understanding how quantum computing and these technologies could impact their industry. Prepare, if necessary, for quantum resistant security. If you're an industry, if you're a company that heavily relies on encryption of some kind or computational power, just know that is probably going to be disrupted completely by quantum computing. So start thinking about that. I think it's really important to think about adoption, because it's true that this is going to happen in 20, 30 years from now, but the first adopters are going to be the ones who are going to win and are going to set the new standard for everyone. So the first ones to move are going to be the winners. And then experiment with these new technologies, see how you can make your business more efficient and better simply by using AI at the beginning, and see if you can implement blockchain technology. Because right now, some of these things are still niche, but I can promise you, technological advancement is going to a more technological world, not to a less technological world. So it might be slow, but just like we thought that streaming platforms were not a thing, and then Blockbuster was completely forgotten by everyone, this is the kind of thing that is going to shape the future. And you can either decide to adapt to it and use it to your own advantage, or go out of business.
And I can imagine you at your company will also have to be flexible, right? What you tell your individual clients, what you tell your, your companies that are going to be attached to you, as this changes, you are also going to have to change with your recommendations as you guide them forward.
Yeah, luckily, I collaborate with very, very smart people, people that I had the pleasure to meet over the past years, working and traveling around the world. And so I have this beautiful network of incredible experts that are going to help me providing these insights and recommendations to companies. But yes, 100%, you have to be very very careful when creating these strategies.
Yeah. And tell us where people can follow what you're doing, and where your website is. Where can people follow you?
Instagram, it's CAIA Consulting. LinkedIn, CAIA Consulting. And our website is, hold on, let me see, it's CAIA.consulting.
Excellent. Camilla, thank you so much for taking the time today. I was really looking forward to this. It was great to catch up with you and see you. I wish you all the best, and I look forward to our next one.
No, thank you so much. This was really fun. Thank you so much for having me.
Take care.
I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.
Okay, bye.
Oh, yeah.